Hi guys, welcome to another video here on my channel. If you've not seen any of these videos before, I'm an approved driving instructor here in the UK, and if it's your first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you get all the new videos that we're going to be dropping. So let's get into the video. So today's lesson, as you can see, it is a nice summer's June day here in the UK, and it is raining. So a couple of points to make when it comes to rain and how you should adjust your driving accordingly. So the first thing is you need to double your stopping distance. As a learner driver, it's quite difficult to judge distances and how far you are from things because it's not necessarily the most natural thing to you in the world. So I always tend to say to people, we follow something called the 2-second rule for normal driving, which is the gap between you and the vehicle in front. In wet weather, you need to double that, so you need to make it 4 seconds. So what you really want to do is, if you're following a vehicle in front, let it pass something that's quite obvious in front of you, whether it be a driveway, lamppost, street light, bus stop, whatever it might be, and count the time in your head how long it takes you to get to the same object, and then you know how far away you are from it. And it gives you a really accurate way of being able to judge whether you're too close or too far to something. So that's the first thing realistically you want to make sure when it comes to the wet. It's going to take you longer to stop. The roads are slippy. Your tyres are going to be slippy. They're also going to be colder because they're running in cold water. So they're not going to have quite as much grip as they would do in the dry conditions. The other thing to be careful of, especially like at the moment, we're going through a period over the last 3 days. I think we've had about 5 weeks worth of rain, they keep saying on the news. So what that's going to present to you is standing water. And there'll be lots of areas where the UK, we have a major issue with potholes in this country. The roads just aren't maintained as well as they could be. Multitude of reasons. I'm not going to really get into that because it's not political, but we do suffer from a lot of potholes in this country, and what that generally means when it rains like this, the water's just going to sit in them. Now the biggest problem as a driver when it comes to this sort of standing water is, one, you don't know how deep it is. You also don't know what's in the water. There could be nails, bricks, all sorts of things that could damage your tyres and end up causing you to have to replace your tyres. The other thing that it's going to do is it's going to unbalance the car. So as you go into that water, the water is a lot harder for the car to move through. So you're going to have one wheel, possibly 2 wheels, into this puddle of water, where realistically the other 2 are going to be on the slippy tarmac. So you're posing a bit of an extra risk there as well. And the other thing to consider when it comes to the rain, sorry about the shaky camera, I'm going to drop it there. So another point to think about when it comes to rain is, especially after long periods of dry weather, what you've got when it's dry weather is a lot of the rubber, potentially leaking oil from certain cars, overfilled cars as well. When they put too much fuel in it, that drips out onto the roads. During the dry, doesn't really affect you because it just gets soaked into the tarmac. What generally happens when it rains, that all comes back up and gets washed out. So the first day of a big rain after it's been a long period of dry, generally the road conditions will be a little bit slippier anyway, so just take a little bit more cautious in that side of it. And then the only thing really to think about when it comes to the rain, well, there's 2 things. Make sure that you know how to operate your windscreen wipers. So play around with your wipers before you set off if you're not 100% sure and you're not confident on it. The last thing you want to have is it to go from a light drizzle like it is at the moment to a really heavy downpour all of a sudden, and you get caught out because you can't see where you're going. With that in mind as well, your lights. Now, some people say to me, well, why would I put my lights on? I can't see any better. That's not the point. The point is that other cars can't see you. Other pedestrians can't see you. So you might be going down 40-mile-an-hour road. You've got a car waiting to come out of a junction. The rain's coming down quite heavily and you're in a very dark coloured car. It's going to be overcast. It's going to be difficult for them to see you at the best of times. In the rain, it's going to make it even worse. So the chances of them pulling out on you, quite high. You've got your lights on, that chance is reduced. It doesn't necessarily stop it, it just reduces it. Okay, and finally, a little tip for anybody that is driving potentially at higher speeds of motorway speeds like 60-70 miles an hour. Aquaplaning. You may never have heard of this, you may have heard of it. To give you an idea of very simply of what it is, basically you hit a big patch of standing water and the water is too much for your tyre grooves to get rid of. So it effectively lifts your tyre up a little bit and you drive on the water. You're skidding on the water, just like a pebble does when you skip it across a pond. If it happens, you're going to feel a very light steering wheel when you do it. My big advice to everybody with this is you come off your accelerator pedal, you do not steer and you do not brake. And very simply, because as soon as you come out that water, you're going to have a no grip, and if you steered your wheel all the way over to one side, as soon as you come out the water, it's all of a sudden going to grip and your wheels are pointing the wrong way. They're not pointing the way they should be. You don't want to brake, because again, same sort of thing. Just off your gas, let the car just slow itself down naturally, and don't upset the car when it's in it. The worst thing that you can do is try and steer, brake, anything like that. I've had people say, should I put my handbrake on? Should I change gear? Should I put it in? No, just do nothing. Come off everything and keep your steering wheel nice and straight. As soon as you feel that grip again, make sure you're all right, and then just gently carry on again. So that's kind of my top tips for the wet. Hope you like this video. If you like any more, if you'd like to see some more, make sure you click that subscribe button, turn your bells on, and if you've got any questions or anything that you struggle with when driving, anything that's come up in the past and you weren't sure how to deal with it, pop it in the comments below. I'll have a read of them, and then I'll either respond to the comments with a bit of advice for you, or we'll put it into another video. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.